Atlanta Victory Star fans, and anyone else who's not even a fan, welcome to another exciting draft analysis. I'm the coach of the Atlanta Victory Stars, Playmaker here, and I am so pumped and excited to get you guys pumped and excited for our newest draft league, the PAC, who is commissioned by Sventoon, and this league actually has the highest competitive rating in all draft leagues out there. So it's a very esteemed privilege and honor to be a part of this whole venture. And yeah, guys, I'm super excited. And without any further ado, let us go ahead and jump into our first pick. So the way it works is that you pick one A tier, one B tier, two C tiers, a D tier, one E tier, and one F tier, and then you have 400 free points. But there's also an S tier, which is optional. If you take that, it's 220 points out of your 400 points you have free. So in my mind, I was thinking, you know what? I think for our first pick, we need to take an A tier, get that mandatory requirement out of the way, and if you feel like an S tier would be fitting for our team later on in the draft, you can get that S tier. Otherwise, stick to the A tiers. Don't splurge too much into the free points. Create a balanced team if at all possible. So with our first pick, we end up getting Victini, who has been an incredibly dominant force in the TBL. I'm able to take advantage of his amazing versatility week to week. I throw my opponents off with running physical sets, special sets, and mixed sets. And some sets are even just utility purposes. Some you can run defensive, you can, go U-turn and Will-O-Wisp, and just whatever you want to do with Victini has got it for you. So yeah, I really love this Pokemon. It's my favorite Pokemon, actually, and it's our mascot. And I could have gotten that luxury S tier pick with Urshifu Single Strike, but I just felt like it was not the time and place to really just splurge on an S tier pick with the because we're sixth overall pick, and it's a snake draft, and there's 16 teams, and I was like, Urshifu Single Strike, it's an amazing Pokemon. All you have to do is just click, with blow on everything. But I just didn't feel like it was, for the upside that Victini brought as an A tier. I just didn't want to miss out on that chance, and I just was like, you know what, like, we're gonna take this thing. Clefable was probably, or potentially was gonna be our first pick, but then I was like, it got sniped like one or two picks before our pick, so you can't really do much about that. And I was like, you know what, fine, we'll just stick to our guns, stick to what we do best, and just take Victini and see where that goes and where that takes us. So with the next pick, I was like, you know what, let's just stay ahead of everyone else in this draft. Let's go for our B tier. And I noticed that there were fairies dropping off the board. All the A tier fairies, like Fable, I really wanted to think, but I just wasn't able to get it because it got taken even before my Victini pick. And so having a good fairy is very important in draft league. And so with that, and I just wanted to also be ahead in terms of typing wise too, you just need to be ahead of everyone else in this draft. So I went ahead and got Primarina, which I actually sniped half the draft on this pick. It's a B tier. Togekiss was an A tier, same tier as Victini, but I was like, it's not really worth the the extra 60 points really, and it would have just been out of our free points, which we would have had to take Togekiss, and I was like, it's not worth it. I just don't think it's worth doing that to get Togekiss at this point. So we went Primarina. This thing, like the thing is, I don't even have to tell you guys who are watching what this thing can do, because you guys already know what this thing can do. Like, it's able to pivot, it's able to be defensive, offensive, calm mind, substitute toxic. It's got stab moonblast. A lot of good things are going for it. So, the defenses are like pretty decent as well. So, overall, loving Primarina. Loving. I've never used this thing before, but like even in mocks, I don't think I've used this thing. So, really excited and happy to be able to use something different. But what isn't different is a pick that we were able to use in the PBAL and in one Grand Prix, and that is Garchomp. When a round 3 Garchomp falls to you, don't look the other way. Like, yes, it's an S tier, and I didn't want to like splurge on something that's a luxury, but this is a luxury worth taking. I do solemnly believe in taking the best available player in any sort of draft, whether it's drafting for Pokemon or for anything else, really. So I got my Garchomp, and I'm happy. We're 2/3 of the way through our Steel Dragon Fairy Core. We still need our Steel type. We got our Fire type, we got our Water type, so we're also 2/3 of the way through our Fire Water Grass Core. And the thing is, I don't really take Grass types just because, like, defensively, they are weak to a lot of things, and U-turn is a very common move, and like when you want to switch into something, it just takes U-turn damage, and it's not good, it's not fun. I mean, there are good Grass types too, but just not worth it in terms of the point system. So we got Garchomp, we got our this thing. It's potentially one of the best setup sweepers in the game, and just Scale Shot Swords Dance is a very good set with this thing, and it can also be run as a special attacker, but it's not, I don't know, I just don't feel like it, for the most part, it's really worth too much trying to run it on the special side. But, not to say it's not out of the realm of possibility, but nevertheless, it's, but I just feel like there's just so many advantages to having Garchomp, be that, like, physical attack sweeper. And you can also run defensive Garchomp too, with his Stealth Rock, Toxic, and a lot of other good defensive utility options there for Garchomp. So it's my favorite Dragon type for sure, and it's just incredibly good. Even speed tier wise, it's at 1 or 2, which is not bad by any means. So loving Garchomp. Next up, we have Raikou, adding a little more speed to our team. This was originally Galarian Zapdos, but we dropped it in the free period for Raikou, just because this thing, it's, Raikou just adds speed and another special attacker to our team, which we need. As we'll see, we'll get a little bit more physical a little bit through the draft, and I really have wanted to use Raikou for the longest time. I've never used it. I've seen people use it against me. I've seen people use it very effectively against me, and so I was like, it's about time that I use it for myself. So we're gonna get some Volt Switch initiative. We're gonna be able to hit water types pretty hard with this thing. This thing gets Scalds just to make people question bringing in a ground type against this thing. And yeah, no, I mean, this thing definitely has a lot of good coverage moves, like Aura Sphere, Scald, and Shadow Ball, and Extrasensory, and and then you can run it physically too with like E-Speed and Spark, and like there's a lot of things going well for Raikou, and I think it's a good fit for the team. And again, it can be a sub-toxic set too, which I've seen, and it can be disgusting if used properly. So hopefully we can get disgusting. Next up is my second favorite Pokemon, but the Pokemon that I am probably known throughout the entire, throughout most of the Draft League community using, it's Umbreon. And Umbreon, on paper doesn't look like anything special because it runs, for the most part, like very similar moves from week to week. But but when I use it, I sometimes will add a little bit of spice. Maybe a little Confuse Ray here and there. You know what I mean? But yeah. So this thing definitely is a nuisance to a lot of teams, and not many people have been able to break this thing. So I just love this thing, and you can also baton pass with this thing too, and like get search initiative that way. So it's a really great mod. I thoroughly enjoy using this thing, and I know a lot of people, well, I know some people, I should say, get bored of using it, but I know a lot of people who are also like, dude, I love the way you use Umbreon, and I want you to draft this thing. And I was like, okay, bet, I'll do it. Let's do it. So we got, one of the best defensive walls in the game with Umbreon for this pick. And Premier covers its bug and fighting weaknesses too. So great synergy there. Then we get another Pokemon that synergizes well with Umbreon, and that is Crobat. Now Crobat, it's so good utility-wise, and then it covers the bug, fighting, and fairy weaknesses of Umbreon. So literally, it's just synergistically amazing. And I am so excited to use this thing. I mean, I used it once in TBL, but it still did a lot of work. Like you can go like super utility wise, like Defog, and then you get Super Fang, and then among other things. So so this is definitely a fat bat to pair with a little bit of other fat on the team. So I feel like our team's got some good balance so far, and then now we're looking into the D tiers, and so I was like, let's just get our Steel type Copperajah. And oh yeah, Crobat, by the way, was originally pickable. Then after we did those transactions and got Raikou, and I was like, okay, get Crobat as well through trade. And so anyway, so Copperajah, guys. Steel type, never used it. I guess Stealth Rock, Sheer Force, Heavy Metal, and amazing HP stat, amazing attack stat, subpar defenses, but this thing can be fat if used properly. So really excited to use this thing, and yeah, hopefully we use it well. And so yeah, Copperajah, guys, really great mod. After Copperajah, we went ahead and picked up Wartortle, an F tier. And I was like, let's just get ahead of everybody else. Let's get the good F tiers in this draft. Get Wartortle, Rapid Spinner, defensively covers fire and water, and ice. So pairs well with Tini and Garchomp, and among other things. And so yeah, it can Shell Smash, can do utility defensive, so good options there. Then we picked up its brother Turtonator in the D tier, or E tier, sorry, in the E tier. He is an Edward. Does similar things to Wartortle, where Garchomp and team being primarily offensive, typing wise, fire and dragon, we can have our defensive fire and dragon type here. Really great Tigmon, can shell smash and sweep and can rapid spin, and it's got iron defense body press sets too, and like toxic sets, a lot of different sets you can run with Turtnator. So really happy that we were able to pick this thing up. Yeah, I would have definitely, like, had I known ahead of time that I was gonna drop Galarian Zapdos, I might have just gotten Hitmonchan here, but you can only do so much when you're drafting in the spot. So Turtnator it is, you guys. Up next we have our Haunter. Never used this thing, even though I drafted in PBL, I never used it. But 95 special attack, 95 speed, has some utility here and there. So like Destiny Bond with Bullet Whisk, Moonbook, Air Song, Nasty Plot, and yeah, so good coverage moves too for its special attack. So good pick here, and it's also Levitate Mon off the ground, so can't be too upset about that. And then lastly, we have our last F tier, and first I initially got Cottonee, then I got Pianfu, and then I actually used up a transaction to actually get Galarian Farfetch, guys. Now, you might be thinking, why'd you get a duck? And then I would be asking you, well, why didn't I get the duck? Because this duck has a big leak. You know what they say about a big leak? You got big leak energy. And this is the energy we need. This thing, it gets scrappy, so, people forget that. I mean, sometimes I even forget that, like when I'm playing against the Surfetch, it's like, oh, I can switch my base type, but then it gets bopped. So that Sableye that thought it was going to come into 3 actually dies because it couldn't do this close combat. So, goodbye. But yeah, no, we get Solar Sands, First Impression, close combat, knockoff, defog, U-turn, a lot of good options for Galarian Farfetch that its evolution also gets. But this thing can also be built defensively if need be. So we'll take what we can get with Galarian Farfetch, and yeah, I think it's a mon that I will enjoy using, hopefully. If not, then we'll probably go for Hitmonchan. So, but overall, guys, this is our team. This is the squad. I hope you guys, like what you see, and feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below, or hit me up on Discord and be like, hey, dude, did you know that you were overlooking XYZ? And it's like, oh wow, I didn't realize I was overlooking XYZ. Maybe I should look into fixing that. So, and if you guys have any suggestions on how to do some stuff, I'm more than willing to listen. And I think some beautiful things about playing against really great competitions that you get to learn stuff, and you learn from your mistakes, and you learn from the people you play against. And so also be sure to support not just myself but other content creators as well, who take time out of their day to give you this content and to entertain you guys. And so be sure to drop a like, drop a follow, subscribe, whatever. And yep, I hope to see you guys around soon. We'll have a week 1 video up shortly. So yeah, take care everybody, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and yep, peace out everybody. Bye.